Alright, these are the brakes on a 2003 Chrysler Town Country. The Limited. It's a 3.8 liter V6. We've already got the tire off, so we're just taking a look at the rotors and the brakes. This is the rear disc. It's not a drum. So we just took the tire off, and then what you've got to do is there are two guide pins in the back, and with a drill bit. So you just I've already done it, but you just crank those two bolts till they're loose, and then you might need a bit of force, like a hammer or something. We compress the piston a little bit back with a screwdriver just to loosen it up, and then the caliper just comes right off like that. And then inside the caliper there are the two brake pads. So there's that one, which you just pop out, and then there's the one in the front. You just need to apply some force to that. There's some pins. Thanks. Yeah, there's some pins, and then you can pop that brake pad off. There it goes. Yep. So you could be gentle with these, but sometimes you just can't because they're temperature hardened and weather hardened.
And you're not putting them back on anyways.
Yeah. So, alright, so there goes alright, there are the two brake pads, and there's the piston. You can see it will be retracted. We'll just get a little retraction tool, and we'll show that in a second. Alright, so there's the tool. You can use a C-clamp, but this is a purpose-built caliper or piston retraction tool for car brakes. And I like it a lot better than a C-clamp. Okay, so then you'll be able to see the piston being retracted. There it goes. And you'll know when to stop because it just doesn't go any further. Alright, and that's done. Okay. So we'll put the caliper back up on the whatever that is. And can you pull the rotor off? So the rotor,
Those are your suspensions.
Oh, suspension, right? Okay, so we used a hammer actually to whack that off, but you can just pull it off by hand now. So it just comes right off. We used a hammer to release the rust, etc. There it goes. Okay. So, and then we went to Napa. We just bought a couple of replacement pads, rears and fronts, and then we bought rotors for the rear. We asked at the machine shop if they could be turned. The old ones, that one could be ground down. He said, no, it's too thin. It's already been turned quite a few times. So we just bought new ones this morning. May as well just pop that on. And what we'll do, just make sure it fits. Okay, that looks good. Now what we should do is clean it off with brake cleaner. Alright, so it's good just to spray. There's brake cleaner, which you can buy anywhere, any auto shop. We've got shop rags. Okay. And just give it a good spray. We'll do that's the back of the rotor. We'll do the front. Just spray it right on the rotor, because you're getting, whatever. All right, and it just gets all the. We'll do that a couple times, get it nice and clean, and then repeat it. So they're the old pads next to the new pads. So that's old, that's new. So you can see the old pad is quite worn down, quite thin, and was causing the car to squeak. And there's the other side, right? So the pads, they sit on either side of the caliper, the rotor, sorry. And when you hit the brake, they just get squeezed, and it stops the car. Yeah, there you go. All right, we're going to put the rotor back on, the new one. and that's a new rotor. You can see that it's all shiny and it's all cleaned off now. And then we'll put the pads back into the caliper.
Can you get them for me?
Yeah.
Which one's
okay? Okay. So there's one brake pad going into the. It gets slipped inside the piston, and then the other brake pad gets. It's backwards. Yeah. Just gets slipped. The two little arms get slipped over the front of the caliper, and we'll need 2 hands for that. It's gonna need. So on these this caliper, the brake pad itself has a little metal tab that you then has to fit into this hole on the front from the rear. So when you get it in place, the little tab slots in from the rear into that hole, and it holds it in nice and secure. Okay. So the caliper we just slot it back onto the top, and then we'll put the guide pins back in, and I'm going to put some grease on them as well, high pressure, high temperature grease. So now we're applying, it's called moly, it's molybdenum, it's high pressure, high temperature grease, and we're just putting it on the guide pin. Right there, the guide pin, can you just pop it back into the caliper? So the guide pin is, it needs to be lubricated, because the caliper, when you press on the brakes, you want the brake pads to squeeze on the rotor. When you release the brake pads, you want the brake pads to come off. So the caliper slides on those now lubricated guide pins, so it should be nice smooth action. Okay, so we're just getting those guide pins back in, and I think I made a mistake before. The guide pins aren't used every time you press on the brake pedal. I think it's just to allow the whole caliper to slide in as the brake pads get shaved down with continued use. Okay, that's all the grease is used for. All right. Okay, and we put the tire back on. And then we'll put the lug nuts back in, and then we're good to go. So the tires in this car need to get pumped up a little bit. So I've got this portable inflation kit, tire inflation kit. Just plugs into the the power, and there it is in the tire. So this tire should be at 44 psi, and if you can see that, it's at about 22, so it's very low. So you just plug it in and then hit the button and wait till it inflates. And I'll wait till it gets up to 44, and there we go.